Have you ever considered how much of your life is simply the result of habits? It's a thought to ponder, isn't it? The book Atomic Habits by James Clear delves into this very concept, shedding light on the power of habits and their role in shaping our lives. Habits, as mundane as they may seem, are the invisible architecture of our daily lives. They are the routines that we perform subconsciously, without much thought, yet they hold an incredible influence over our actions, our thoughts, and ultimately, our success and happiness. The power of habits is not in their size, but in their repetition. A habit is not a one-time occurrence, but a series of actions repeated over time. This is where the concept of atomic habits comes into play. The term atomic implies something small, minute, yet significant. And that's exactly what atomic habits are. Small, consistent routines that, when repeated consistently, lead to massive results over time. Consider this: if you were to improve by just 1% every day, by the end of the year, you would be 37 times better. That's the power of compounding. That's the power of atomic habits. But it's not just about creating good habits, it's equally about breaking the bad ones. Because while good habits can propel us towards success, bad habits can pull us in the opposite direction just as powerfully. The beauty of atomic habits is that they don't require monumental changes or drastic transformations. It's about making tiny, almost insignificant adjustments in your routine, your behavior, your attitude. It's about the power of marginal gains, the power of the compound effect. By understanding the nature of habits, we can harness their power and transform our lives. The power of habits is not to be underestimated. It's the small things that make the big difference. It's the atomic habits that shape our destiny. So let's delve deeper into the world of atomic habits. Let's understand how we can make these tiny changes and witness their massive impact on our lives. Because remember, it's the small steps that lead to the biggest leaps. By understanding the nature of habits, we can harness their power and transform our lives. What if we told you that success doesn't require massive actions but rather tiny, consistent steps? Diving into the heart of the book Atomic Habits, we encounter the concept of the 1% rule, a simple yet powerful approach to self-improvement. Imagine if you could improve by just 1% every day. It may sound insignificant, but over the course of a year, those tiny increments would add up to a whopping 37 times better than when you started. This is the magic of the 1% rule. It's not about making radical changes overnight, but about the cumulative effect of small, consistent improvements. But how do these atomic habits work? They involve a process known as the habit loop, which is a 4-step cycle: cue, craving, response, and reward. Every habit begins with a cue, a trigger that initiates the behavior. Maybe it's your morning alarm that cues you to get out of bed. Following the cue is the craving, the motivational force behind every habit. In response to your alarm, you crave the feeling of being alert and ready for the day. The response is the actual habit you perform, like brushing your teeth or brewing your morning coffee. And finally, the reward is the end goal of every habit, the satisfaction you gain from completing the behavior, like the refreshing taste of minty toothpaste or the aroma of fresh coffee. Understanding this loop is crucial because if we can identify our cues and cravings, we can start to manipulate our responses and rewards to create better habits. In the grand scheme of things, it's not the one-time monumental actions that dictate the trajectory of our lives. It's the small, day in and day out, seemingly insignificant actions that we repeat over time. It's the tiny changes, the 1% improvements, that accumulate into remarkable results. So the next time you're daunted by the prospect of a massive goal, remember this: it's the small, consistent actions that truly shape our lives. Building good habits is more than just self-discipline. It's about designing your environment for success. In the second part of the book, Atomic Habits, the author provides us with practical strategies for creating good habits. The foundation of these strategies rests on 4 laws of behavior change that can guide us through the process of habit formation. Let's start with the first law: make it obvious. The idea here is to make the cues of your habits visible. The more obvious the cues that trigger your habits, the easier it is to act on them. For instance, if you want to form a reading habit, place books in areas of your home where you spend a lot of time. That way the books are right there in your line of sight, reminding you to read. The second law is to make it attractive. The more appealing the prospect of a habit, the more likely you are to follow through with it. You can make a habit more attractive by associating it with positive feelings or rewards. For example, if you want to exercise more, try pairing it with something you enjoy, like listening to your favorite podcast or music. Thirdly, Make it easy. The simpler a habit is to do, the more likely you are to do it. Break down complex habits into manageable steps. If you want to start running, don't aim for a marathon right away. Start with a short run around the block, then gradually increase your distance over time. Lastly, the fourth law is to make it satisfying. We're more likely to repeat a habit when the experience is satisfying. Immediate rewards can make a habit more satisfying. If you're trying to eat healthier, find healthy foods that you genuinely enjoy eating. In essence, creating good habits is about making them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. By understanding and applying these four laws, you can design your environment and your routines in a way that naturally encourages the habits you want to form. Creating good habits is about making them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Breaking bad habits can be as important as building good ones, but how do we break the cycle? It's a question we've all asked ourselves at some point. Well, the answer lies in the third part of the book, Atomic Habits, which dedicates its attention to the art of breaking bad habits. The book suggests that we can break bad habits by inverting the four laws of behavior change. Now, what does that mean? Let's dive right into it. The first law is about visibility. To create a good habit, we need to make it obvious. But to break a bad one, we need to make it invisible. This means removing all the cues of your bad habits from your environment. If you want to stop spending too much time on your phone, for instance, try keeping it in a different room when you're working or studying. The second law is about attractiveness. When building good habits, we naturally want to make them attractive. But when breaking bad habits, we should aim to make them unattractive. This can be done by highlighting the benefits of avoiding your bad habits or the negative consequences of continuing them. Thirdly, we have the law of ease. Good habits should be easy to do. But when it comes to breaking bad habits, we should be making them difficult. Add more steps between you and your bad habits. If you're trying to cut down on unhealthy snacks, don't keep them in your house. The extra effort to go out and buy them might just be enough to stop you. Lastly, we have the law of satisfaction. A good habit is satisfying, but a bad habit, we need to make that unsatisfying. Find a way to make the immediate outcome of your bad habit feel unpleasant. Maybe that's making a pact with a friend to do something embarrassing if you fall back into your old ways. So, to recap, breaking bad habits requires us to invert the four laws of behavior change. Make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and make it unsatisfying. Once you master these laws, you'll be well on your way to breaking free from the cycle of harmful habits. To break bad habits, we need to make them invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. What if there was a way to make habit formation even easier? Well, there is. Let's dive into the world of habit stacking and the 2-minute rule, two game-changing strategies that can make habit formation not just easier but more efficient. So, what exactly is habit stacking? It's a concept that leverages the power of our existing habits to create new ones. Imagine your daily routine as a stack of habits, each one built on top of the previous one. For example, if you already have a habit of brushing your teeth every morning, you could stack a new habit on top of it, like drinking a glass of water or doing a quick stretch session. The key here is to attach the new habit to an existing one, making it easier to remember and more likely to stick. Now let's talk about the 2-minute rule. The idea is simple yet powerful. If a new habit takes less than 2 minutes to do, then do it immediately. This rule is especially useful for overcoming procrastination. For instance, if you want to start reading more, just commit to reading for 2 minutes each day. It sounds too easy, right? But that's the point. Starting is often the hardest part, and this rule helps you overcome that initial resistance. The beauty of these strategies is that they can be used together. You can stack a 2-minute habit onto an existing habit to create a powerful routine. For instance, after brushing your teeth in the morning, you could immediately read for 2 minutes. Over time, these 2 minutes could easily turn into a full-fledged reading habit. Remember, the goal here isn't to change everything overnight. It's about taking small, manageable steps towards your larger goals. It's about making habit formation a natural part of your daily routine, not a daunting task that feels like a chore. With the right strategies, habit formation can become a seamless part of our daily routines. After all, our habits are the building blocks of our lives, and with habit stacking and the 2-minute rule, we can build a life we're proud of.